This is the Hockey Podcast Network, your home for hockey talk on every team in the NHL.
Calgary Flames fans, it's time for Flames Unfiltered. Entertaining and controversial hockey talk with your host, Brad Baru. It is official. The NHL regular season is over. And this summer, yes, this summer, we will have a 24-team Stanley Cup playoffs. Good evening. Welcome to episode 61 of Flames Unfiltered, May 30th, 2020. We are dead smack in the middle, I can say that now, of the NHL pause. And it seems like it's taking an eternity, but somewhat out of our control. Well, we finally got hockey news this week, and I am excited. But man, late July, doesn't that seem like forever? So I still need to find 2 months of shit to watch on Netflix. Oh my God. I don't even know if that's possible. I'm such a sports guy. I just want to watch sports. Well, I guess I can watch golf and play some golf. That seems to be one of the only sports that's getting back to normal quicker than others. I'm also going to take the time to spend time with my family. If there's been one positive from this pandemic, it is that we've done so much more together. We've spent a whole bunch more time together. And just got to really do things around the house that we've probably, I guess you could use the word, neglected over the years in the busy lives that many of us live. I'm loving this warm weather we got right now. It's been nice. I got one problem to bitch about here. I got plantar fasciitis, and it is killing me right now. I want to cut my left foot off. I am not helping things as I continue to try to work my way through rounds of golf. But boy, when I get home and I sit down, oh my goodness, I can hardly get up to do anything. Damn, I didn't know this was going to be so painful. But anyways, you don't care about my personal problems, and I don't blame you. So let's get to it and let's talk some hockey. And on this episode, it is we're going to talk the return of hockey. We'll talk a timeline, phase requirements, hub cities, round robins, and then we'll roll on into the discussion on the 24-team playoff format and how it hurts or helps the Calgary Flames. And then we'll dive deep into a very, very abbreviated version of Flames news. We won't have to get deep. There's not a lot of news to talk about. And then we'll wrap with a Facebook poll that I posed this weekend, asking fans if they like a 24-team playoff format that we're about to see, or if they prefer a traditional 16-team playoff format. Thanks for listening to another edition of Flames Unfiltered.
Balls can hurt, but yours don't have to. At Manscaped, we save balls. Prevent manscaping accidents with the Lawnmower 3.0, featuring skin-safe technology by Manscaped.
Get 20% off and free shipping when you use promo code THPN at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. All right, Flames fans, let's get right into it. The return of hockey. On Tuesday, Commissioner Gary Bettman went across TV in North America and outlined a 24-team play-in playoff format that looks like it's going to rip and go this summer. I did not predict this. I will be the first to admit it. But it looks like we possibly could have hockey if all goes well. There is some things that have to happen before that. We have to have proper go-ahead from government, medical authorities, and but everything looks to be getting so much better on the COVID-19 front. It's been long, it's been stressful, it's been tedious, it's been a lot of work for a lot of people, and it's been a lot of heartache, sadness for all the people that have unfortunately lost their lives. But we paused on March 12th, and now it looks like late July, we just might have playoff hockey. As for that regular season, it is concluded through games on March 11th. The 189 games originally scheduled from March 12th to April 4th will not be played, and 24 teams will resume. The top 12 in each conference, based on points percentage at the time of the pause, will advance to a play-in/playoff format. Now, what's the timeline for this? That was my biggest question when I sat down to listen to this press conference. I wanted to know, when are we getting hockey? Was it June? I didn't feel like that was realistic. And I kind of predicted in last episode that it was going to be late July, and that's kind of what we're getting. It looks as though they're in phase one. They were in phase one. Now, in early June, which we're just bordering on that, we're going to roll into phase two. And in phase one was self-isolation as much as possible for the players. Now we're going to roll into phase two in early June, and it's expected the teams will be permitted to return to their home facilities for small group voluntary on and off ice training. Then the good news will be that hopefully early July 10th at the earliest is what the league's saying, is that formal training camps will be held after guidance from medical and civil authorities. They will take place, as of now, in the team's hometowns. There has been some talk that maybe it would be medical-wise be smarter to just do the training camps in the hub cities. The problem being there is ice amounts and the feasibility of having 12 teams doing a camp. Now, it is up in the air on how long it'll be. Early speculation was 3 weeks. Some players I'm hearing are saying 2 weeks. That is something that the league and the Players Association still have to iron out. Now, the way this playoff system is going to be set up is that the 12 teams from the East will play in one hub city, and the 12 teams in the West will play in the other hub city. Gary Bettman laid out some hub city potentials, and those are Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Edmonton, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Minneapolis, St. Paul, which looks unlikely after the civil unrest that they are having there now, although I hope and pray the U.S. can pull things together and not have that. When July comes around, Pittsburgh was also named, Toronto was named, and Vancouver was named. Now, a lot of factors will go into determining what hub cities will get this, based on hotels, arena, practice facilities, transportation. Teams will be limited to 50 personnel in each hub city, and the timing of the sites will be determined at a future date, dependent on COVID-19 conditions, testing availability, and government regulations. I know a lot of things are happening in Canada right now as we're working to get government officials to give okays in reducing quarantine or eliminating quarantine for players, or self-isolation quarantine for players upon returning. The one thing that could nix it for Canada is if once this gets going, when they have to move to play into one central hub for the Stanley Cup Finals, if they are going to require a 14-day quarantine period, all bets will be off. Now, I don't see why that would be necessary when based on the not speculation, the facts that they're going to be testing on a basis of almost daily, if not every other day. Now, if that's taking place, how could we not feel safe in being able to transport those players into a new environment and have them continue to keep playing and be around each other, although still testing every 2 days. I don't know. I see this format working pretty well, especially the way I see COVID-19 starting to tail off in some of even the hot spots in the U.S. Still a lot of time to go, a lot of work to go, a lot of health restrictions to be lifted, and all those things hopefully will fall into place, and we will get hockey. Now, how will this competitive format go? Well, the top 4 teams in each conference will play a round robin to determine seeding. It'll be regular season overtime rules for these round robin games. The points earned in these round robin games will determine who is seeded 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, in the East, it's going to be Boston, Tampa Bay, Washington, and Philadelphia as those top 4. And in the West, it'll be St. Louis, Colorado, Vegas, and Dallas. Now, in a qualifying round, the remaining 8 teams in each conference will play a best-of-5 series to advance to the first round. Playoff overtime rules will be in effect for this 5-game series. The first and second round, then, will be formatted based on seeding versus bracket, and the series length is yet to be determined, with most of the players leaning towards best-of-7. The conference and Stanley Cup finals will be best-of-7 standard playoff rules, and we will then raise Lord Stanley like we've all wanted to. Run through the best-of-5 qualifying rounds quickly. In the East, number 5 Pittsburgh will take on number 12 Montreal. Can't believe Montreal's even in this. I just can't believe that. Number 6 Carolina against number 11 the New York Rangers. Number 7 New York Islanders against the number 10 Florida Panthers. And the number 8 Toronto Maple Leafs against the number 9 Columbus Blue Jackets. In the Western Conference, we'll get the number 5 Edmonton Oilers against Chicago Blackhawks. The Blackhawks, a team that was selling at deadline day. I don't know. I don't hate this format. I don't love it. There's some things I don't like and some things I do like. We'll get into that in a moment. Number 6 Nashville will take on number 11 Arizona. Number 7 Vancouver will take on number 10 Minnesota. Fairly easy draw for the Canucks, if you ask me. And then our Calgary Flames will take on the Winnipeg Jets, the number 9 seed. Well, I feel that is going to be a difficult series. Now, how will this format help or hurt the Calgary Flames? Well, I don't know that really it'll help or hurt. I do think that an 8 and 9 seed Western Conference battle between Calgary and the Winnipeg Jets will quite honestly probably be the most premier matchup in the Western Conference for sure. I think that is going to be a top-notch battle. Now, what do the players think of this? Well, Mark Giordano stated this week in the media conference that he's excited for the potential return and says he wanted to be rewarded for playing the bulk of the season and have a chance to be in the playoffs, and he's very optimistic about this going forward. Jeff Ward said that this new system is very, very going to be very competitive, and he said in order to win a Stanley Cup, we'd have to win 5 rounds. And he says that he doesn't see anything that will take away from the integrity of the Stanley Cup playoffs. As such, he does not think or believe or buy into the asterisk argument. And honestly, I don't either. Now, ironically, in the final 12 games that Calgary had this year that are not going to be able to be played, Calgary was scheduled to take on Winnipeg 2 more times. The only matchup this year between the two teams took place outdoors at Mosaic Stadium in Regina as the snow was gently falling. It was a great, great Heritage Classic. It really, really was. The Jets went on to win that one in overtime, 2-1. They were scheduled to play again on March 14th and 31st. It was the next game up for the Flames when all went haywire. I don't know how you feel, but watching Calgary play against Winnipeg is one of my favorite matchups. I love watching the Jets play. I think they play an exciting style. I have a ton of respect for Paul Maurice, and I look at that team, and they're a fun team to watch. I'm a little scared having Calgary go up against them, to be honest with you. But who would the Flames, and how would this have worked if we'd have went, and if it was the regular season was done, and on March 12th, when everything shut down, and we went off the normal standings? Well, Calgary would have been the number 3 seed in the Pacific Division with 79 points, and would have played, yes, the Edmonton Oilers, the number 2 seed in the Pacific with 83 points. We would have got a Battle of Alberta. Winnipeg would have been the first wild card. They had 80 points. Now, I sit and I think about this, and I think, well, would I wanted the Battle of Alberta? Well, absolutely, I want the Battle of Alberta. I've been pushing to keep the playoff formats the same as they are now since we went to this format. I love this format. I love rivalries. Rivalries in sports at every level are just so damn fun and so damn exciting. So, would I wanted the Battle of Alberta? Yeah, I really would have. I would have been scared to death of losing the Battle of Alberta. But you know what? You can't win if you don't play. It's kind of like asking the hot girl out. If you don't ask her out, you're never going to get the chance to be with her. So once in a while, you kind of got to stick it out there and take that chance. And how fun would it have been in Calgary this year to beat the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs? Now, we still may meet them, but if you look at the format, it could happen, but a lot of things are going to have to go the way. I don't know. It's going to be doubtful that that's going to happen. As for facing Winnipeg, it's pretty scary to me. Let's roll through the positives, though, first. And there is some positives and some things I think can help Calgary go on to beat Winnipeg. I think it's going to be a huge fresh start for the Flames. This season's been about the script that this season has been for both the country, U.S. and Canada, a disaster. We need this restart in Calgary. There's a few things to build off of. Michael Backlund was red hot. Backlund was moved to center in January and did not go well. During the All-Star break, he met with Jeff Ward and went back to his usual position of center. Sorry, he was moved to wing and went back to his normal position of center. He caught fire. He posted 22 points in 16 games. And going into the pause, he was tied for 6th in scoring in the National Hockey League over that time period from the break till the end. That's crazy good. How would he handle Mark Scheifele in the playoffs? That would be an interesting one. Another positive for Calgary is that the defense is healthy. Hamonic, Giordano, Hanifin, all healthy. Heck, even Valimaki may be good to go. The Flames have 10 defensive options to start the playoffs. Giordano, Brody, Hamonic, Hanifin, Anderson are the definite top 5. Forbort, Gustafsson, Stone, Shillington, Valimaki. How many teams have that big of depth? And quite honestly, you're not going to win a Stanley Cup without a huge amount of depth on defense. And that is one area that Winnipeg is lacking. Can the Flames exploit that? Can the Flames take advantage of that? Another positive is in goaltending. It's a fresh start for David Rittich. Let's face it, since All-Star break, the guy has not been good. I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm just stating the truth. He's not been good. Is this a fresh start? Because David Rittich was a hell of a goaltender at the start of the season. He was amazing. He was a reason he kept us in over half of the games at the beginning of the year. That's the guy we need. That's the David Rittich we need. Do we get him back? That's yet to be determined. The negatives. We have to win 5 rounds instead of 4 to get to a Stanley Cup, to win a Stanley Cup. Now, that may be thinking a long ways ahead, Because I don't know how many of us believe truly that this is a Stanley Cup team. But I also can state this, though. I don't know how many of us could predict anything that has happened this year. This has been one of those weird years. I've told a lot of my buddies, this is the year now Calgary will win it. Because it's been such a messed up year. Sometimes you can't write those fairy tale scripts with your team hoisting the cup at the end. Maybe, just maybe, right? Now, Winnipeg is a difficult opponent. It starts in net with Connor Hellebuck, a Vezina candidate. He led the NHL with 6 shutouts this year. He tied a single-season franchise record. That's pretty impressive. He ranked second with 31 victories, and it was his third 30-win season. Pretty impressive. How do you argue the offensive strength of the Jets when you've got Laine, Wheeler, Scheifele, Little, Ehlers? Yikes, the list goes on and on and on. Pretty impressive. And we can't forget in Calgary that we may just have a goaltending controversy. That we go with Riddick and hope we get the success we got in the start of the regular season, like we just talked about a minute ago? Or do we play Talbot, who arguably was probably by far the better goalie the final 3 weeks of the season? That'll be a decision that'll be made. I do believe that Flames management wants Riddick in net. They want Riddick to succeed. They want Riddick to be our long-term goaltender in Calgary. Now, I can't argue that, although his performances over the last 2 years have led me to believe that just maybe he's not ready to be a starter, or may never will be ready to be a full-time starter in the National Hockey League. Is Gaudreau poised enough to stand up to a big, strong Jets offense? Because that's what's going to face. They are going to be whacking, hacking, and on him all the time. Now, are we going to get the Johnny Gaudreau that folded like a wet noodle last year in the playoffs? Or are we going to get a guy that fights through it and dazzles us with a bunch of great offensive scoring? I pray it's the scoring part, because if not, pack your bags, Johnny. Another negative that scares me is Paul Maurice, in my mind, is one of the best coaches in the National Hockey League. We'll see. We'll see how that affects him. Is Jeff Ward our man? Is he the guy we want leading this team over the next 5 years? We don't even know that. There's a ton of unanswered questions in Calgary. And these playoffs are going to answer them very quickly for us. Another negative is we're not going to have the Red Mile, the Calgary Craze. It's going to be in a neutral site with no fans. Will that benefit the Flames? Will that hurt the Flames? Honestly, this Jets team scares me. But you know what? On a bright side, when you look at this proposed 2014 playoff system, name me a series that wouldn't scare me. I don't know. Maybe I'd be okay with Minnesota. Maybe I'd mentally be okay with Arizona. Chicago would scare me. Winnipeg scares me. Edmonton would scare me. Vancouver a little bit. And Nashville would scare the hell out of me. Isn't that probably a sign that maybe we aren't the team we should be, considering where we were at the end of last year? I'm excited as hell for this 24-team playoff. I'm not sure I like the format, but you know what? This has been a year where things have been just so messed up that right now any format's okay with me. I want normalcy back in our life, and I want hockey back. It's funny how we have learned that through these tough times that we take so much for granted. And we just can't do that. Life is too short. Hey, our buddies at coolhockey.com have teamed up with us at the Hockey Podcast Network, which Flames Unfiltered is very, very proud to be part of. And they've got a great contest. Now, this podcast releases, and you got to get it done right away. You got to make your purchase by June 1st using promo code THPN. You're going to get 30% off right out of the hop. Now, if you use the website coolhockey.com/THPN, that's going to get you automatically entered in a contest. Winner will be drawn June 6th, Saturday, and the winner of that drawing is going to take home a $175 coolhockey.com gift card. And that'll get you another cool-ass jersey.
CoolHockey.com is your number one source for authentic and customized NHL jerseys. Use promo code THPN and receive 25% off your order. CoolHockey.com.
CoolHockey.com. Jerseys online since '99.
All right, Flames fans, time for a little bit of Flames news. 0 Calgary Flames players land in the top 25 in the regular season points. Matthew Tkachuk finished 33rd with 61 points. We sure did not have the offensive production that we had last year from our team. But when 0 land in the top 25 in regular season points, that is not a real good sign. The Flames also look to be very void from NHL awards this season. Last year we had quite a few nominated. It's pretty difficult to live up to last year's outstanding success. I understand that, but this was a little bit of a down year for the Calgary Flames. Also a real down week for news relating to just the Calgary Flames. Hopefully next show we will get just a little bit more news. Listener question. This week we went to Facebook again and put out a Facebook poll, and a great help from our good friends at Calgary Flames Fans and the Calgary Flames fan page. Both of those are groups on Facebook that I recommend that every Calgary Flames fan go be part of. Wonderful groups. I talk Calgary Flames stuff every single day with the people on those sites. Good people. Now, I pose the question, are you excited for the 24-team playoff format? Or do you prefer the traditional 16-team playoff format? I'll give you my results, and then I'll give you my opinion. So 301 people entered in the last probably 36 hours, just over 24 hours. That's amazing. Great response. Thanks again, guys. You guys are the best. So 61%, 185 respondents, said that they like the 24-team playoff format. 39% said they prefer the traditional 16-team format. Now, you guys all know if you listen to the show routinely that I'm about as traditionalist as it comes when it comes to hockey. Now, I like the 16-team format. I said earlier in the show, I like the divisional formats, creating rivals and going about it that way. I like that. Now, this 24-team format, I am not going to boo-hoo it. I've seen so many people on social media this week boo-hoo in the NHL for this format, ripping on them, and I'm thinking, guys, just shut up. Just shut up. We just want hockey, right? How can this league come back and go through all that it's gone through and say we're just going to keep going like normal? There's going to be changes this year. There is things completely out of this league's control right now. And they're doing a hell of a job in my mind. So I am totally fine with a 24-team format this year. It's not going to be perfect. Not everybody's going to love it, but too damn bad. If you want hockey back, face it, guys, the NHL is ahead of every other league coming back. And we need to be thankful for that. Let's just be happy we're getting a format. And it is about as fair as you possibly can get in my mind. I welcome the 24-team format, but you know what? If I had to pick, I like the traditional 16-team. And the reason I pose this question is because I wonder, I think it's going to be great, but I wonder how many people are going to say, well, we want this every year. We want 24 teams in every year. And that's something that scares me. That's something I don't want to see. Now a move like that would disintegrate the integrity of the Stanley Cup. When we go to 32 teams, having 16 get in is bang on, and it's perfect.
Get all your Flames Unfiltered podcasts, team news, team updates, and highlights at FlamesUnfiltered.com.
Well, Flames, great news if you are a hockey fan. Hockey will be back this summer. But the fact is, the earliest we're going to see it is late July. That's 2 months away still. Yes, 2 long months. Well, I guess this is our off season this year. We're going to be taking a slight break in recording here at Flames Unfiltered. We're not going away. We are not going anywhere. We're coming back. In June, we're going to do 2 shows. June 16th, we'll record and release that day. And on June 29th, we'll release another episode. We're going to talk Hall of Fame retired Flames jerseys and, of course, the up-and-coming Flames Jets playoff series. Once again, thanks for listening to Flames Unfiltered. I can't wait to be back with you in 2 weeks for another episode of Flames Unfiltered. Check us out on the Hockey Podcast Network and make sure you check us out on FlamesUnfiltered.com. Enjoy what we can call this year the off season.
Get connected. Flames Unfiltered can be found on Twitter at Flame Unfiltered. And also make sure you check out our Facebook page at Flames Unfiltered. Check out host Brad Brood on Twitter at Brad Brood. And if you like what you hear, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. You can find Flames Unfiltered on all the major podcast players. Consider subscribing to Inside Edge Hockey News on Patreon. That'll get you exclusive content and much more. Thanks again and enjoy the hockey. Thanks for tuning in to Flames Unfiltered. Check back for more action-packed Calgary Flames talk.
You're listening to the Hockey Podcast Network on Twitter at HockeyPodNet. New episodes every Monday and Thursday. Download at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com or wherever you get your podcasts from.
This has been a production of Inside Edge Hockey News Radio, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. This production is copyrighted and distributed by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.